Do you want to make games? Do you have what it takes to design, build, program, draw, and work as a team? From home, of course. But lack the drive to do it yourself? Then you should sign up for Jack Mehoff University of Game Design and Time Wasting, where we will direct you to YouTube, Stack Overflow, GitHub, and many more for your research, all paid by your financial aid loan of your choice. Our teachers barely have experience, which is why they work for us to begin with. So come on down and waste your time and money. I see so many people fall victim to video game schools offering a curriculum that can be found online for free. I know this because I'm one of those students. I wasted time at a school that would direct me to YouTube um, for everything. When asking teachers to explain something, I was quickly shut down because they didn't want to explain it or they just didn't understand it themselves. Luckily, I did not accrue a massive amount of debt because at the time I was using GI Bill. So, yay. Hi, and welcome to the channel. First off, these are my opinions and life experiences, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I went to Full Sail University and got my bachelor's in game design. The work wasn't too hard for me. It could be for you. While doing my normal schoolwork and tasks, I was developing games on my own and helping my upperclassmen with their projects and doing game jams and all the sorts, all the stuff you should be doing. I've had games flop that just didn't do well, but each time I've created a game and finished a project, that's something I can put on my resume or my portfolio, and people will look at that and see that I've completed something, and that's the main thing is completing projects. But here's the big thing. Don't waste your money on game develop or game design college or a game school. It's a fucking scam. Don't do it. Everything that you need is online. YouTube is great. Stack Overflow is awesome. There's plenty of resources out there to learn game design, to learn how to program, to learn how to draw, to do art, to mess with all of these cool little softwares we got. We got Blender, we got Sprite, we got Unity, Unreal, Game Maker Studio, Godot. There's plenty of things out there that you can download on your computer and just start messing around with and learning. Um, this is not a video of how to program or how to make games. This is a tutorial on where to get started, how to get started. This is not a tutorial to not how to be lazy. I am lazy. These are things that have just worked for me. So first thing you want to do is pick a game engine. I highly suggest Unity. There's plenty of tutorial and resources out there for Unity. I think it's one of the greater tools out there that indie games or indie game developers can grab. And yeah, I think there's a lot of tutorials, assets, or anything in between that you can just pick up and play around with. And C# is not a difficult language to learn. I would also suggest uh, going through a C# tutorial um, and just learning the basics of C# before you even hop into Unity. I am currently I'm a software developer at a construction company, making tools for CAD software. It's a CAD program. That being said, choose what route you think is best for you. My first game engine was Game Maker Studio. The only reason I switched because the license cost, and I was going to Full Sail. They made me switch to Unity and Unreal at the time. There wasn't really a lot of resources out there for it for Game Maker Studio. Sean Spalding being the goat in that area, so thanks Sean for all the help. But yeah, your next step is just play around with that game engine for a week or so. Watch a tutorial. I don't care if it's the driest tutorial in the world. Sit down with your goldfish attention span and hammer that shit out. It's not that hard to sit on your ass and just watch a video and just follow along with the tutorial. I promise you, you will learn something. You may not retain it all, but you'll damn sure learn something. You could go on YouTube right now, bring up Brackeys, Code Monkeys, or any other tutorial for Unity, and you can find a start to finish, make your own game, 2D platformer, top-down shooter, and you will have a game at the end of it. It might not be the game that you want, but it's a game. And that's the thing that you need. You need to start doing these small projects. No one's gonna hop on a game engine and just hammer out Stardew Valley or Undertale or Halo or anything like that. You're not gonna make a fucking banger of a game your first try, especially with no knowledge and no experience. If you have never touched programming language or game editor or anything like that, um, this is purely a learning experience. But I bet at the end of it, you have learned something, and you also have code that you can go back and reference for later games, such as collision code. If you're jumping into coins or and earning points or taking damage. The more you hammer out these tutorials, I promise you'll start to retain how to use Unity and C Sharp together, or any other language, or Unreal and Blueprints, whatever the hell you're using. I would recommend finding a guide on C Sharp programming. Again, this video is not about teaching you how to develop games, but it's about taking the right steps to start. For art, you can try your hand at Blender or Aseprite. That one's my favorite. The pixel art for that is just amazing. Aseprite's the shit. Check that out. I think it's like $10 on Steam. Plenty of source material on that too. Really good program. I love it. You find free game assets on Game Dev Market or Open Game Art. Yeah, Open Game Art. Music and sound effects are a little bit trickier. I try to find royalty-free ones or keep an eye out on like Humble Bundle deals, but I also rip them off of YouTube. You can do that. Which brings me to my next point. Complete the games you start. More often than not, I see developers start projects and completely abandon them, or get stuck in this loop where they start a project, they play around with it for a little bit, and then they start a new project because they find out how to do something new, or they want to make a game mechanic. Make your game mechanic. Keep it on the side. Go back to your project. Open your project up at least once a day just to even look at it. You don't want to abandon a project that you spent 4 or 5 months on, and you're a quarter of the way through development or halfway, however large your game is. I hope it's small. Keep your game small, small scope. Um, and you just abandon it just to start a new one because you'll get stuck in that loop of starting a game, starting a new one, because you'll get stuck on something that you don't want to fix in your first project. You'll get stuck and you'll start a new one because you've thought of some cool mechanic or cool concept, and then guess what? You'll get stuck in that because you haven't learned how to do the other thing. So, yeah, finish your projects. The more games you complete, the more you can add into your portfolio and your experiences. This is called snowballing. You're taking little things and turning them into big things. The more you can showcase, the better it looks to companies you're applying to. I guarantee that a company will look at your portfolio more than your degree. So please don't waste your time on a game dev school. I have never had a job or a job I was applying to for game design or game development ever ask me for my diploma. They always ask either technical questions pertaining to C Sharp or C++, or they look at my portfolio. If you do want to get that schooling and get a more traditional computer science degree, you will learn so much more and be able to find a job if you're in a pinch, because there's just not enough position in the game job market for you. Which brings me to my next point, the gatekeeping aspect. If you want a job in the game industry, you better dye your hair green and be anything but a Republican, because that's the only way you're going to get in. I joke, there's not enough room for everyone in the industry. If you make it in, I'm very happy for you, and I hope your journey is a fruitful one. For you rejects out there, keep grinding. You will succeed. Keep making indie games. Get them on Steam. That's passive income, homie. Look for jobs that are not only in the game design field or game developer field. My next game will be 1000% better, just because of the skills I've learned from the software developer job that I have now. Um, I've learned more there than I have ever learned at Full Sail. So just keep your nose to the grindstone, hit them tutorials, keep learning, guys. Get motivated, buckle down, and you can succeed. Next step for this channel is to discuss game mechanics and systems in popular games today, and why they were a success. Keep learning, guys. Get motivated, buckle down, and you can succeed. Take it easy.